Broadcasting from New York City to the world, it's the G-Man Interviews.
Welcome. Appearing on national TV shows such as Oprah Winfrey, Geraldo, Regis, Philbin and Kathy Lee, The Montel Williams Show, and Tony Brown's Journal, along with countless radio appearances across the country, Lloyd Strayhorn has always left the audience mesmerized by his mastery of Astro-Numerology. Many of his peers and loyal clients have described him as upbeat, positive, sincere, and amazingly accurate. His bestseller, Numbers and You, has been sold in bookstores all over the world. He serves as a spiritual guide for many Hollywood celebrities and gained a following during his nearly 25-year reign as a forecaster at the iconic New York City radio station WBLS 107.5 FM. In October of 2012, Mr. Strayhorn appeared on this show and not only predicted a second term for President Barack Obama, but all the states that he would win. I recently met with the acclaimed astro-numerologist at his home office to discuss the rise in global conflicts, the mass shootings that have taken place in the U.S. and abroad, the Trump effect, and who will be elected President of the United States on November 8th. It's a pleasure to welcome you back to the show, Mr. Strayhorn.
Thank you very much, G-Man. It's a pleasure to be back.
Before we actually get into the candidates and your astrological forecast for them and numerological forecast for them, I'm interested in knowing something. 2016 has proved to be a very challenging, tense, and tumultuous year, to say the least. From the presidential contest to the terrorist attacks, the economy, and so on. Did you prepare any forecasts before 2016, and did your findings indicate that it would be this tumultuous or this tense?
Well, actually, I kind of undersold it in a sense that I didn't have any idea that it would be this dramatic. You see, 2016 is the year of the number 9. And for those who may not understand it, in numerology, I just added all 4 numbers. 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 6 equals 9. 9 is ruled by Mars, which is often referred to in astrology as the war planet. Okay? And so therefore it is a planet to the negative that rules confrontation, dangers from knives, guns, instruments. For example, earlier this year in New York City, there was a rash of people getting sliced across the face. There would be nations in particular that would have a harder time than others, which are Cancerian nations, which would be the United States and France, or France in and of itself, because their birthday is Bastille Day, which is July 14th, okay? With 9 being the major universal influence and 2 being its oppositional, that would rule 2 rules the sign of Cancer. But also, if you do the name Orlando is in Orlando, Florida, that add up to the number 2, okay? Which is where the shooting in the club was of 45 people or something of that nature. So what it means this year to the negative is anybody, because it's universal, should avoid confrontations, arguments, stay away from guns, knives, anything. People that want to fuss and fight. To the higher side, it rules inspiration, motivation, bringing out the best in people. Because 9 is humanitarian, international, and you see this has been happening everywhere with the conflict from the United States to Paris to the Middle East, Germany. It almost seems as if no country has been exempt from tragedies of gunmen and killings and things of that nature. Hopefully, once we pass out of this after the fall of September, October of this year, going into 2017, this will subside. But right now, and in fact, as you know, gun sales have gone up, which I think is so ironic. With all of this, why would you want to get more guns to do more shooting? So that's why I tell people who want to fuss this year, who want to fight, who want to argue, let them go about their way. For example, there was a news article of a gentleman that went into a bar here in the United States They refused him alcohol, and he pulled out a gun and shot the owner. So that's the craziness. That's the absurdity of people that are not thinking, that are people who are just acting on impulse. And sometimes that's part of the negative side of the nine energy. But to the positive, it's more so be humanitarian, that we all got to go. We all have a time to enter this planet and exit this planet. So bring out the best in people. That's the thing, the long and the short of it. And I will say, those who are favored astrologically, three signs, that would be Aries first, Scorpio second, and Leo third.
Now I'd like you to provide an astro-numerological profile for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump.
I was always taught ladies first, so we'll start with the Democratic side.
That's fine.
Hillary Clinton is born October the 26th, which makes her a Scorpio like you, G-Man. She's a Scorpio 8 person. She's born October the 26th of the month, and 2 plus 6 is 8. That's how I got that number. Her vice presidential nominee is Tim Kaine. He is born on February the 26th. Notice, both of them are born on the 26th. Okay? When both numbers are the same, that means mentally they're on the same page. So that means that there will be no differences. Everything will, in fact, these two, as president and vice president, will be literally in lockstep with how things should be done. There won't be any disagreements as such, scandals as such. There will just be a simple direction. 8 people, as a rule, are loyal, faithful, determined. They have a very strong sense of right and wrong and justice and God. And in fact, if you talk to a rabbi, they will tell you that the compound number 26 is called the number of Jehovah or God. So hopefully that will show something very, very positive and constructive with these two. And by the way, they're both water signs. She is the water sign of Scorpio, and Tim Kaine is the water sign of Pisces. So both the elements are matching, but I'm more impressed that the birthdays are matching each other exactly. In fact, they did talk about Elizabeth Warren. She's June the 22nd. So she's going into the sign of Cancer, but one of the major opposition numbers to the number 8 is the number 4. So I eliminated that right away. But I didn't realize Tim Kaine's birthday until the actual selection was made. And I would say that's going to be a very productive pair. Now, to the Republican side, Donald Trump is a Gemini 5 person. He's born June the 14th. And his vice presidential selection of Mike Pence, he is also a Gemini, which is born on the 7th of June, Pence's birthday. Now, each sign gets a bad rap. For example, Scorpios, they like to say, oh, that's the sex sign. But the reason why they say it's the sex sign, G-Man, is because if you look at most astrology books, they'll have a human figure with the signs pointing to the various parts. Aries starting with the head, Taurus with the neck. So by the time it gets to the reproductive organs, that's the sign of Scorpio. So maybe that's where that comes from. But on the other side, Geminis are known to be two-faced, flighty. Those are the stereotypes. Now, I don't care what sign, you're all going to get some stereotypes. Those are haters. Don't worry about it.
I'm going to push the envelope a little bit. Could you provide a negative and a positive regarding a Clinton presidency and a Trump presidency?
Okay, ladies first. With the Democratic election of Hillary Clinton as the next president, the advantage is this. 8 is the number of represents people who are very solid citizens and will treat everybody the same way. They're also conservative, which means they won't go overboard or extravagant. And since 8 is the number assigned to people who are very faithful and loyal, I would say once she is sworn in on January the 20th of 2017 next year.
If she is sworn in.
Well, when she's sworn in, I'm only messing with you, G. I'm only messing with you. So if she's sworn in, okay, she would really uphold all the rules and regulations of the Constitution of the United States and respect everybody. That's how 8 people are. And then with her running mate, Tim Kaine being an 8 himself, he would be literally in lockstep with her. To the negative, it could be sometimes too conservative because eights know the value of something. An eight person has this reputation that if you tell them something is one thing and they don't think it's worth it, they're not going to spend their money. They may let you spend your money, but they're not going to spend their money. So that is, to me, the positive and the negative. But there won't be that much negative because eights are normally very, very faithful. It is on the Republican side. 5 is an air number, which means they will go which way the wind is blowing. Okay? So the whole attitude with the Republican side is to the positive. They will bring about change because 5 is the number of change. They like change, they like variety, they like freedom, they like flexibility, which may not be in lockstep with the Constitution of the United States when you got to deal with both the House and the Senate. That's why it's not a fiefdom here, okay? It's a check and balance system. Since Mr. Trump seems to have a role of shall we say entitlement, that he knows what he's doing, that he's the smartest guy in the room, doesn't leave room for anybody else to maybe put their little 2 cents in. Now, Mike Pence, his vice president, is equally smart and intelligent, but he's a 7, which means he's more low key, and where Donald Trump is a 5, which means he's out there. And by the way, Gemini rules the sign of communications, and the number 5, Donald Trump's birthday, 1 plus 4 is 5, also rules the sign of communications. So maybe that's why he has skillfully outwitted the prior 16 candidates, and he is born or live or reside and work in the #1 media capital of the world, New York City. I mean, even when I've been on radio shows, they always want to know, what is it like to do something out of New York City? So in that way, he's got it. But in the negative way, he has to be careful of being very superficial and doing things his way, which is going to create a very serious problem. Now, if Trump would be elected, he will be moving into a 3-cycle year for himself. How I do that is I took the month he's born, June, the day he's born, the 14th, and added to the year of the swearing in, which would be in 2017. He'll be going through a 3-cycle then. 3 denotes expansion, good luck, prosperity. It is a number that is international, universal. However, 3 is the cycle of scandals and lawsuits. And in fact, years ago when I was in Washington, D.C. on Fox 5 TV, at that time, I explained that then Newt Gingrich would be caught up in a scandal, and several months later that came to pass. And this is exactly the same cycle that Donald Trump will be. So to the positive, expansion, good luck, bringing in more monies, if that's the case, but more to the negative, scandals and lawsuits.
When President Obama was running for re-election in 2012, you appeared on the show and you accurately predicted the states that he was going to win. What states are Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump likely to win?
Well, I do believe that, first of all, to the far west, California, Hillary would win it. Up along the eastern seaboard, I would say from North Carolina, South Carolina, I do believe Hillary would win it. Once you go north of New York City, from there to Vermont to Maine, all of that, you will find that she will win. Donald Trump likely win Arizona, Indiana, from where Governor Mike Pence is from, those kinds of states. But I would say along the eastern seaboard, from Jersey, New York, and above, California, maybe Washington. But in the main part of the states, Oklahoma, Arizona, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, I would say that would probably go to Trump and Mike Pence.
And finally, the next president of the United States will be...
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I'm only kidding. Well, I'm going to stick to the same formula that I made my prediction in the 2008 election. Also in the 2012 election. Don't make no sense changing the formula now for 2016.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. Since this year favors Scorpio, the only one that's running that's on a Scorpio would be Hillary Rodham Clinton. Therefore, that is the next president of the United States, who will be sworn in on January the 20th, 2017 in Washington, D.C. And not only that, but history doesn't favor that many Gemini presidents. There've only been two. The first one was in 1963, John F. Kennedy, and then the other was in the 90s with George Herbert Walker Bush. That's it. They don't come often. They're more Scorpio presidents than Gemini presidents.
How can people contact you or?
Well, I do have a toll-free number. It's 1-800-581-4401. And I do have a website if people want to visit the site and order products or whatever. It is Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. That's LLOYD-Strayhorn, STRAYHORN.com.
And can they also order personal readings from this?
Yes, they can also order personal readings. They can call or reach me on my website. And we'll see what's up in their stars for the rest of 2016 and going into 2017.
Again, thank you very much for being here, sir.
Thank you. From one seven to another seven, it is a pleasure.
And I thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, stay cool, stay safe, and stay informed.